What up, world? Thanks for tuning in to another wonderful episode of All In on Everything. You know, the place where you can be yourself. Ain't nothing off limits.
Nothing.
We're going to talk about sports, gun safety. You know what I mean? When you get to certain levels, you need to know that you on certain levels and hope that things that you did on the lower levels don't hunt you when you get to the higher levels. And a little bit of everything in between. So with that being said, we ain't been on for a minute. We got a special guest with us, Mr. Tico.
What's going on?
Mr. Same Dude.
Better version.
You know what I mean? Mr. Tactical.
Citizen.
Mr. Cow.
Boy.
Okay. And my man.
Or Mr. Samity.
Sam.
Okay. And to my right, got my right hand man. You already know Low Key in the building.
Low Key, see?
Low Key,
Yeah,
man.
so what's going on with you, Chief?
Hey, man. Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, man. Like I say always, every day above ground is a great day, man. I'm blessed to be here, man. No matter what you're going through, just know you got another shot at it to make it right and all of that. So don't be so hard on yourself. Keep pushing, man. But I'm blessed, bro. Always blessed, man. I don't try to look at that negative, man.
Grateful. Gratitude.
Always, man. What about yourself, man?
Always could be worse.
What about you, Mr. VIP?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. You know what I mean? Got my guys around me. You know what I mean? Money flowing. I mean, they just going out while it's flowing, but I got a little fish net to keep a little crumbs.
You gotta dig a little pond.
Little gold particles after the storm of it go back to the.
You gotta build your dam.
To the man, yeah.
The stream. You gotta build your dam in the stream.
Exactly.
Let it pool up a little bit before it goes out.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm about to start acting like I'm poor. When I say
act broke, get rich.
Look, when I say poor,
Always.
when I say poor, y'all niggas be like, damn, Amir, that nigga smoking or something? That nigga looking sick. I'm talking about oodles and noodles, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man.
You talking about wish sandwiches?
Yeah.
If you ain't,
I wish I had some in the middle of the motherfucker.
that's why you gotta. If you want to get to that
Tomato,
level, boy,
mayonnaise
you got
sandwiches.
to sacrifice.
Tomato, look, toast the bread, mayonnaise, tomato, salt and pepper.
Yeah, that's it.
Hot dogs.
Hey.
Boil them things, do whatever you got to do,
Yeah.
man. You got to sacrifice if you're trying to get to that next level, man.
Yeah, man.
Level up with it, man. Because like I said, it's a process with it, man.
And with all that being said, I ain't out here grinding for no YN to get mine either.
True that.
So with that being said, while we have you in our presence, it's always a good feeling to have somebody who's experienced in gun safety as yourself. So that's gonna be one of our main topics today. So I'm gonna give the floor to you. However you want to start off with gun safety. We talking to the YNs. We talking to everybody. You talking to the young ladies out there.
Okay.
We talking to my peers. You know, everybody. We talking to everybody about gun safety, the do's and don'ts. What's a good age that you think? I know they say 21, but what's a good age you think somebody is responsible enough to carry? There it is right there. I don't think it's an age.
Okay.
I think it's responsible.
I think that number one, we can start with the age.
Okay.
It just depends on your environment. You know what I'm saying? As with anything, handling knives, guns. My kids actually started young, 5, 6 years old, shooting 22s. So I started that young too, shooting with my grandfather and dad. So, as far as carrying, is that where you were more leaning towards to in that later years?
Yeah, exactly. Because, see, I know that they give the gun laws at 21,
Right.
where you can get a pistol or whatnot.
So
you
here-
can get a rifle at 18, right?
So
is that still...
here's a big misconception.
Okay.
So you have to be 18 to purchase a shotgun.
Shotgun, rifle.
Or rifle,
Yeah.
right? You have to be 21 to purchase
A handgun.
a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you can't be under 21 and in possession of a handgun.
Facts.
It's illegal to purchase a handgun under the age of 21. That's how young kids can have a rifle in the woods and be hunting, right?
Because they didn't purchase
or at the yeah,
Because
they
it could
didn't
be a
purchase
gift.
it. So
Somebody gives something as a
possession
gift.
of a firearm under the age of 21 was against the law. Then everybody who's ever been a kid to the gun range, their parents will be going to jail. Right? So it's the purchase of it, which is the age to get it. So it's kind of like not a loaded question that you were asking about, you know what I'm saying? But just to know that when people understand that
Well, no,
difference.
what I'm saying is, what's a responsible age to basically carry a firearm on a daily basis?
Maybe that depends on, like he say, because like with him, his grandfather, and he got trained early.
No, but we're not talking about a special. I'm talking about an average age.
Yeah, but you can carry it, but do you have the training in it?
Yeah, that's all going to depend on training.
I think it depends on training.
So it's just like somebody who can go to the military at 18, they can get trained and be 18 and understand how to be responsible with the gun. Now, some of them can, have PTSD or something like that, or flip out and, do some evil stuff. But, back in the day, they used to you could join the military, I think even back to the 60s when you were 16.
Yeah, but
so
no, we talking about a whole different generation.
Now,
grown men at 12
I
back
think,
then.
just like anything, like driving a car, some kids are going to be able to drive without getting into an accident their entire life. Some kids are going to get into a wreck 2 weeks after they get the car, right? I think that all has to do with, I don't want to say upbringing or something that has to do with the parents. It's really just like using logic, common knowledge. Hey, look, if this is something that can take a life or destroy something, I need to be ultra safe with it, right? Just like a car, right? Just like anything you would have, a butcher knife, don't run with it. You know what I'm saying? At least don't run with it with the point up, pointing at you, because if you fall, you're going to cut yourself, right? So with anything that we have, any form of weapon, you got to be careful with it. I know plenty of people that then pulled out a bat, running around the corner thinking somebody that came in their house and then fucked around and hit themselves with the bat. You know what I'm saying? Just in some way, shape, or form. So really it comes down to, I think those kids, or I don't say kids, I would say teenagers and adults, because there are some people at 45 that I don't think should have a firearm. Some people just don't learn. We talked about it earlier. Some people stay the same age. What they were doing when they were young will be the same things that they'll be doing when they're old. Yep. So if he was kind of stupid when he was in third grade, he probably gonna be a little stupid.
Doing the same shit, just on a bit different level.
Yeah, or in some way, shape, or form. I think habits don't really go away. You just turn them into other creatures of habit. To me, it's the same way that you can have most people who go through a drug and alcohol class end up just exchanging that habit for something new, like working out, going to church, doing different things, gardening or whatever. You take that
habit as a habit.
Yeah, that addiction to something, and you just convert it into something else. You know what I'm saying? Into something positive. So you can't get it. Really escape that. So to get back to the point,
gun safety.
Yeah, really, it comes down to what training you have. I always suggest that anybody who's going to buy a firearm should really think about at least reading it, looking up Google, gun safety rules. Never point a firearm at nothing you're willing to destroy. Always keep your finger off the trigger until you got your sights pointed at the target. Always know what's behind your target and beyond it.
Never look down a barrel.
Right. Yeah, never pointed at yourself, that's for sure.
Shit.
And really, it's just, like I said, it's with anything, you have to use common sense. Most of the time what I tell people is, hey, if you do have a gun and you feel unsafe or non-confident with it, when you're loading it, unload it, go into a corner of a room, because normally that's where all the 2x4s are when they're joined. So if it does have you do have a misfire, it'll go into the stud wall and not through the drywall into the next room.
Don't say that on my show. People gonna be running to the corner of their goddamn room. I ain't mean to.
No, hey, but listen.
I ain't mean to.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
For people that's getting started and wants to purchase maybe a weapon and all, what's a good pistol or weapon to start off with, where it's maybe not too big, where they can handle it, where it'll be something small, where they can protect themselves, and it's not trying to go out there and be out there with everybody else?
I can answer that for you, sir.
Well, he's gonna say a Glock.
Yeah, the preference.
He's gonna say a Glock.
The
19.
preference for the standard American citizen.
The Glock 19.
Preferably a Glock 19, but
Some had the Glock 40.
we can have the Glock 26
So
as well.
here's where I'm going to get him. You ready for this?
The pocket monster
You ready
is
for
what
this,
I
Loki?
call.
Here, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. All right.
Is the Glock 26
Why?
not a pocket monster?
Why?
Is the
do you
Glock
choose the
26
Glock?
not a? Why?
Yeah. For what reasons?
One,
See?
you already know it doesn't jam.
I mean, they
Well,
have,
you got to
but
clean them.
they
Make
have-
sure your gun
yeah.
is clean. That's number one rule.
Let's get that clear. All guns jam, definitely when they're not clean, but
the wrong
every
bullets, too.
manufacturer has had some type of hiccup in some way, shape, or form.
Well,
but Glock
my
it definitely
experience-
is king of reliability.
yeah,
That is for sure.
it's definitely reliable.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you where my I always like Glock. One, you know, we come from the hood, man. You like pretty guns,
Right.
So that's number one. Glock has a pretty gun.
Oh, you think it's a pretty gun?
It's beautiful.
I'm gonna-
I love it.
I'm going to show you a different one. Later
Oh, it's a
on.
lot of pretty guns out there.
Of
Yeah.
course.
But that's
of
the
course.
ones you
That's one of his favorite.
As me growing up, that's what you fall in love with. Now
Right.
you got some, F&Ns and all this stuff. Some you got some nice guns out here.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, when I went to go, I was already on Glock, and then when I went to go get my first gun, and I was deciding on, the guns. I already knew I was getting a Glock. It was either the 40 or I wanted the 9mm. The 22, the Glock 22 or the 9. And I wanted the 9. I wanted the 19 all day.
Right.
I did my research on everything. When I got there, they didn't have the 19 in stock, but they had the 22.
So you got the 22.
And I was like, hell. And no, a agent was there, and I asked him about it. I was like, man, what's your favorite gun today? He said, he said Glock is my weapon of choice. And I was like, okay. I was like, what about 9 to 40? He was like, nah, 40. Boom. And then I went with that. But from my experience, I still love the 40. If you know how to shoot the 40 is like the 9.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you shoot that 9 after shooting a 40, that's like a 22. That man, hey.
All right, you want me to hip you to some game?
I know you got some stuff, bro.
You want me to hip you to some game?
Yeah, talk to me.
So first off, when it comes to selection of a gun, we're gonna get back to your question. I'm a big believer in confidence is from comfort. So when you pick up a gun, it should feel
Like
comfortable
it's
to
supposed to
you,
be yours.
like it's supposed to fit in your
Like
hand.
a dog and
To me,
shit like
right?
that.
Because you got to think about it. If I'm uncomfortable with something, if I'm uncomfortable with a pair of scissors, if I'm uncomfortable with a knife, I'm going to move different than somebody who's comfortable. Well, it applies to a weapon or a firearm, right? If you're uncomfortable with it, if you don't know all the inner workings of it, and you don't have to know all the inner workings of it, but at least enough to break it down and clean it, right?
So JT Money started off with the 22.
Right? Who?
JT Money started off with a 22.
You did?
Yeah.
Shout out to JT Money.
Shout out to JT Money. Money in the
Okay.
building.
Okay.
Make sure y'all
JT
like,
Money.
subscribe,
I thought you were talking
man.
about the rapper.
Nah. That's what we call nephew.
Okay,
Man-
listen, I thought you were talking about the rapper JT Money. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right?
I know who you talking
So
about.
look,
Yeah,
I was
back in the
like,
day.
I thought he
That's
finna-
how I got his name.
Okay.
It's Justin Terrell.
Okay, JT Money. You
Look,
JT Money then. Yeah, you
Justin
right.
Terrell, and then
Look.
the rapper JT Money back in the day. So when the nigga was born, I'm like,
That's-
look, JT
hey, he-
Money,
so
nigga.
yeah,
you know,
So you knew about JT
that's-
Money the rapper?
No.
You knew about
Have
you didn't know about JT Money the
That's
rapper?
how you
so
got your
didn't
name.
even tell you about JT Money the rapper.
That's how he got his name. I got
So
the nigga name
yeah, but
number
you
on my
didn't
phone.
tell him how you gave him his name, how you took it from another nigga?
Nah, but it's Justin Terrell, and there's money on the side, on the back of it.
That's how
No, the
I don't know
JT
what
Money
the
was
fuck.
just famous for the rap and all that. JT Money ain't like he took his name, his initials is for that. So
Yeah, that's the only reason I call that nigga JT.
Because there's
Money.
a lot of niggas put money at the end of their nickname, nigga.
JT Money, Justin
You know what I
Terrell
mean?
Money, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to motivate that nigga to. I thought this nigga was being Bugattis by now. Like,
What he supposed to be driving?
Bugatti. I said this shit was confident. Like, real shit. Right?
Yeah, he's gonna be right. You got it. Okay, so check it out. Whatever's comfortable. Glock is a good choice. Most people are pretty comfortable.
So wait, you said whatever.
You said comfort.
Yeah, comfort equals confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah, comfort equals confidence.
So let me ask you this.
Yep.
So, my guy, if you go into a gun store, don't go on a budget, because a budget will get you in a bad situation. Whereas you spent money for something that's not worthy of you, where you could have just saved a little bit more to get something more quality that's gonna last and have more value in the future than getting a piece of shit Taurus or something.
So,
You like Taurus?
yeah, Taurus is all right. Taurus got some things that's okay.
You being funny?
No, I'm being for real.
No, he gun level.
No, time out.
Sammy
Let me make this
nigga.
disclaimer right now.
I got
You
All
got
of,
Taurus.
all of
Yeah.
them.
boy.
But see, Taurus is cheap.
So no, but listen.
Taurus
Let me explain
look-
it
no,
though.
Taurus
Let me explain
look-
it.
Taurus
Let me
look
explain
good.
it. I got to tell you. Let me
Taurus
explain
look
it.
good and they cheap.
Let me explain it.
And from my experience, them much bitches jam a lot.
So here's what I'm saying.
They jam
Because
a lot.
I'm so into comfort is confidence, and then after that, budget is king, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing. I'm the type of person that is. I would rather you leave with something
Then
today with some ammo than nothing.
Okay.
Right?
can go with that.
Because today the manufacturers aren't like they used to be. Taurus used to suck in the semi-auto. Taurus has always been the king of revolvers.
I was gonna say yeah.
But
Yeah,
the
no, 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 no.
semi-auto,
Yeah, no,
they
the
had
357
some hiccups.
Magnum, hell
They
yeah.
had some hiccups.
You're
right?
absolutely right
So
about
Smith
that.
and Wesson was the king of revolvers, and when their semi-autos came out, it was a few hiccups with it, right? Because the SDVE and all that stuff came out
See, he
before
going
the
over my
MMP
head.
stuff.
Stop going over my head.
Right.
Bro.
So, like, what I'm saying is, every manufacturer, they have. Think about it like this: Glock is the most reliable gun. You can run 50, 100,000 rounds through a Glock.
Yeah.
All I need is 2 or 3 to dead a motherfucker. So
right.
at the end of the game,
But that's you.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
talking about somebody
If the
who might make
Taurus
the whole
or the
clip out.
little
You
Ruger,
run that back, nigga. He said that. Y'all niggas tripping,
No,
boy.
but see, I know who I'm talking to already. We not talking to
They
a,
don't.
Look, we talking to a dude who you be looking for your deck of cards, and he done shot him up. He shoot cards, bro. He don't play cards. He shoot cards. I'm
I
dead
do shoot
serious.
cards.
He shoot cards.
yeah.
So I already know the level that he talking about, but I'm trying to bring it.
Yeah, so
to
it-
like some
well, what I'm
normal
saying is
dude
this.
stuff. They jamming up on you.
If you can afford the Glock, the most important thing is the worst thing that I normally see in the world is that they'll come into a gun store and they'll buy the gun and not the ammo because they've spent all their money on the gun.
Damn.
Right? So I would rather you, instead of spending $550, $600 or whatever it is the Glock is in the store, if you got the $450 plus the ammo to get to spend that $600, $650 or whatever it is, I'd rather you do that. So if you got to get a Taurus for $350, $400, but then get you 150, 200 rounds of ammo to go practice with, that sounds like a way better option than a Glock with 1 box or a Glock with no box. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because
Or-
technically,
Or
But so I'm gonna say
it's
like
not
this,
a dire situation
'cause
right now.
I'm not a
so
Glock
all
hater.
You know,
So just so everybody know, I'm not a Glock hater. Right? I had every Glock.
Yeah.
Every Glock in 9mm, I had them, but I switched over to Smith and Wesson, the M&P, just because of how it felt. So I shot a friend of mine's, and I was like, "Dang, this feels good in my hand." Like, and then I switched everything.
It got the one safety, the trigger safety.
Yeah, just like Glock.
Okay.
Yeah, M&P, just
Check
like
that
Glock.
out. No,
So
you got a variety. So
What about the SIG?
check.
I
him
got
out.
6 too.
Check him out on YouTube and
Tactical_Citizen TV.
yeah, Instagram, all that, man.
Yeah, I
Y'all
do all the training and all that stuff. Pistol, rifle, shotgun.
Man, this dude build guns, all this stuff, man.
Sammy Sam.
You know,
I do it all.
yeah.
So
Modify them, paint them,
the
everything.
Glock is actually a great choice. I think it's in the price. I think you should probably budget because you asked about budget. $700 to $800 because you'll probably get a good Glock for $600.
What about for a woman? And maybe sometimes
so
the
he-
bigger handguns may be too powerful.
Nah,
Well,
Glock
so
26.
let's talk about that.
I'm-
Hold on,
that's what
hold
I
on.
said.
I'm asking,
Hold on.
bro.
So here's what I want to do too, because I want to educate a lot of people on this. The smaller the gun, and I don't care what caliber it is, except for a 22. The smaller the gun, the more hard it is to control. Not whether you're male or female. It's the physics of it. you have the same amount of powder coming out of a gun that weighs, let's say, 28 ounces versus a full-size steel gun that weighs 5 pounds.
It's like throwing.
So the weight, just because
throwing a
inertia,
pebble in a rock.
motion, action, reaction, the weight of the gun soaks up most of the recoil. Because it's the same 9mm bullet, whether you shoot it out of a little small concealed carry gun or you shoot it out of a full-size gun.
So don't matter
Let
if
me
it's
ask you
smaller.
about the Glock.
So most women, actually, so here's what I do. When I train women, here's what I always bring a 45, right? And it's steel frame, it's full size. Because they always say I'm scared of the caliber, 40 caliber, 45, whatever. And I'll just put it in their hands and they won't know it. I won't even tell them that they're shooting 45 right now. And they'll just go, oh man, this feels different. And then I say, okay, which one you want to shoot again? And they say, that one. And it's the 45. She said it's a little heavy and it gets a little heavy, but it's easy to shoot because the bigger the gun, the more it soaks up the recoil. Whether you're a man or a female. So, like, if you want to have an enjoyable experience and go to the range and shoot and go a lot, get a full-size gun. It's the same thing as now when you ask what to buy, it's all got to be purpose-driven. So if you go to the store and I just go buy a Glock 17, which is a full-size gun, but I'm going to be sitting down all day at work, right? It's too long in the tooth to try to carry an appendix, or on your hip, it's going to be poking. You won't be able to sit right, all that stuff. You're going to have to get a smaller gun. But if I stand up all day, well, I can get a full-size gun, right? Or I can wear an appendix depending XYZ how I'm moving, right? So the size of the gun depends on, to me, purpose-driven. So that's why you have multiple guns. You have one that you carry. You have one as a nightstand gun, which is a full-size gun. That's what I recommend if that's where you're going to have it. If you're going to carry something, a carry or even a compact, somewhere in there. They got some good short 4 1/4 guns that are pretty slim. Glock 48. I normally run that. That's my carry gun. When I'm not running the SIG X Macro, you asked about the SIG. So I run the X Macro P365 for my normal carry gun.
SIG is right there up under Glock, little bit up under.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of SIG you get, because they got some SIGs.
Yeah, they got some shit.
SIGs.
SIG got some shit. I got a 226 that's pretty nasty. Yeah. So, so size of the gun really matters in what you're buying. And generally the smaller the gun, you get a little better deal on the carry size than the full size. It might be a few dollars here and there. Now, what depends on the size of the gun also is how you're going to carry it. For ladies, if you don't have a purse and you only have a clutch or something like that, then you need to get a smaller gun so you can hide it in some type of waistband or garter belt holster or something like that. Damn. Male the same way. If you wear like tight fitting clothes and all that stuff there, you don't want a big bulky gun because it's just going to print and show and everybody's going to see the print. Now that kind of leads into the young bucks now, the YNs that you wanted to talk to about walking around with guns in your pocket 30s. Without holsters or sticks on them and stuff like that. Whatever.
They shoot themselves a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know that. If that's what happens, that's for real.
I done heard dudes get shooting.
That's fucked up.
Shooting themselves, police coming. So they lie on the police report. Now they in trouble for lying on the police. Boy, all type of stuff.
Let me talk to the YNs real quick. The first key to self-defense, if that's why you carrying a gun, is not letting them, I didn't want to say it like that, but not letting the motherfucker know you got the gun. Okay? Just like if you need to cut a nigga, don't let him know you got the knife just yet. There's a certain time when the knife need to come out. Now, when he 20 feet away,
of surprise.
Don't need to bring the knife out. Now, when he get to you, might be time to bring the knife out.
Of course.
Okay? So now, here's what I advocate. No matter what weapon you have, we kind of blend into self-defense on this. You want something to happen to you in order to claim self-defense. Regardless of what the argument is, and we'll get into it later in a minute about the 5 tenets to keep your ass out of jail.
Yeah, because you don't want to be arguing that your ass is innocent for 5 years while you sitting in
Yeah,
jail. Your whole life is deteriorating.
And I'll tell the problem for the murder charge.
Fuck that.
When it comes to anybody, but mainly black folks, when it comes to a murder charge, because you fighting from the inside. Okay? And that's the seriousness of it. If you claim self-defense and they charge you with murder, you will fight it from the inside. If you're not a millionaire,
Yes.
Even if they give you bond, it's going to be so high, nobody's going to have the bond for you. You $5 million, nobody's got 500,000 to come bring cash, and they ain't paid into their house yet. It take 30 years to get you that $500,000, unless you got
even if they did pay into the house, they
so your grandparents got to put their house up. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a lot of shit that got to go down. So the thing is this: it might look cool, it might make you feel powerful, but you didn't buy the gun for protection. In that manner, right? If you need protection in that manner, you need to learn how to fight, right? You need to learn how to throw them things.
Yeah, man. That's to me. That's the ultimate protection.
Yeah,
that you use the ultimate protection when your life is threatened. If it's a one-on-one squabble and all that, nigga, if you running your mouth, do it. Handle your business and all that. We shouldn't be pulling the guns out unless you actually feeling threatened for your life,
your life, and that's
where these young niggas fit. They ain't never took no ass whooping.
They handing out dinosaur years out here now, man.
Well, the easiest question to ask,
and giving niggas dinosaur years.
The easiest question to ask yourself is, would a reasonable person do the same thing I'm about to do? Because that's what they're gonna ask you in court, right? If you're in a rash state, an emotional state, you angry, you upset, you mad, you caught somebody sticking dick in your woman and ran in the house and you got the pistol. Huge. In that moment, if you ask yourself, would a reasonable person pull this trigger? And if the answer is no, you just murdered that nigga. So you can start crying right now. Don't wait till they give you the sentence.
No.
Ask yourself that question right then, and you can go ahead and decide
really hit them niggas in reality until they in that holding cell. Damn.
That's why you can't make those drastic decisions.
No, the shit don't hit them until they say, yeah, mama, what? No bond. That's when it hit them.
No bond, and ain't that sentence, boy.
No, that's when it hit them. So listen, no bond is when it hit them, right? The first reality.
Yeah.
Right? Ooh. But the fatality of it is when they get that sentence.
You're right.
They realize.
You're right.
They realize it's over. Oh. It's a wrap.
Game over, fellas. And this is what I keep trying to tell y'all YNs, man. You don't respawn, nigga. This ain't Call of Duty, nigga. This ain't no NBA 2K where you can start the fantasy life over and all that, bro. When you gonna make a wrong decision like that, you decide to do it, bro, and it ain't in self-defense and it's murder and all that, and you just crashing out, bro. Nigga, it's over, bro.
Like the late great Pac said, don't end your life before you begin your life.
I'm like, y'all niggas just tripping, bro.
That's true.
Niggas crashing out at 18, 22, 20, man, younger than that. You be like, bruh.
Let's talk about the switch. Let's talk about a piece that's designed.
Let me tell you something about
to incarcerate the youth. That's what it's designed for.
The switch.
That's what it's designed for.
No, you gotta look at it like this because it's glorified to enhance that gun, and it's
and it's so illegal.
Listen,
it's so how much time you get for a switch? Up to 15?
I don't even know. It just depends on what jurisdiction you're in.
If you're in Mississippi, you probably can.
Yeah, you probably go wherever in Mississippi, Florida, New York, for sure. You going.
Yeah, you can't have
it. Nothing at all. You can't have shit up there.
He's not playing that shit.
So the thing is this, right? So let's talk about it for a minute.
Why is it so easily accessible?
Well, no, it ain't really that easily accessible anymore. You can get one?
No, I can't get shit.
Okay.
I know,
it ain't
that's
easily
right.
accessible anymore. Right?
Not anymore.
They're still out there, and there's still maybe people that are 3D printing them and stuff like that, but they're not as prevalent as they were. There's still a few of them out there, but the time they're giving out for them switches, ain't too many people running the switch. Now, if you talk about...
That's all they rap about.
No, that's all they rapping about. That ain't all they using.
Man.
Right? They've been rapping about all that shit.
Bro.
And they ain't using the switch like that. Now, Chicago...
got switches. No.
Maybe in Chicago.
Stop.
Huh?
I'm talking about these dudes got switches, bro. I'm telling you that.
Okay, so listen. So let me go on and get into what I'm talking about.
You can go to any major city in the world.
So when it comes to automatic, right?
They must be 3D printing the fuck out.
It's created for two things, okay? One is suppressive fire, right? Okay. Which means I'm just trying to pin somebody down. Okay. And the other is for fun, just to spray and pray.
And
right?
you have no control, right?
Right, you got no control.
So you spin the whole round.
So here's what I'm saying. Listen,
You spin the whole 30?
if you are that guy in the street,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a switch, and you the man,
Yeah.
you finna miss.
Thank you.
So what's the purpose?
Hold on, say that one more time.
So if you in the hood and you the man, I'm talking about that man that's supposed to go do that work, and you got a switch, unless you walk up on him and everybody see you from a distance, you probably not finna hit what you think you finna hit. Because that spray and pray don't work.
You're going to hit everything but that.
Right. Because you got to control it, and it's rocking like this.
And
It's
it's
not like an
letting-
automatic rifle to where somebody can kind of control it and give you a good little burst in a spot. It goes crazy, right? So you got to get so close to make that happen. Okay, so now listen. Here's what don't matter. Here's what don't matter.
Be malnutrition and shit, all skinny and shit with that big ass tip.
And look, here's how they shoot. Like this, because most times somebody's shooting back. So that's how innocent bystanders
Yeah,
get
they
shot.
fucking everything.
Right? They ducking because you got to duck because you getting shot at too, right?
Well, let go of that motherfucker.
You in a shootout. So you ducking trying to get away and just
Damn.
shooting in that direction, right?
But I let go of that
So
motherfucker.
now-
that shit was going. You
So
ain't
now-
get nothing.
So think about it like this. Look at every one of them little situations that you see in a video
Damn.
where they had that shootout like that. They not shooting like no real soldiers.
Oh, hell no.
In the moment, you can see the coward come out of them. You can see how they start doing like this and coward come out of them. Look at a military video of a shootout and the difference in the position of their bodies. Law enforcement, somebody who's trained, and I'm not just talking about military and law enforcement, I'm talking about people getting trained, right? Even on your own. There's ex-military and law enforcement people that'll train you how to take on a situation like that. If you get caught in the middle of a gun battle, right? Or really it ain't a gun battle because that's just a shootout. There's a difference between a gunfight and a shootout. A shootout is two niggas that really ain't got no aim. They don't go to the fucking range. They got felonies. They can't show up at the fucking range anyway. So where they getting their practice at? Right? They're not just popping that shit off in the middle of the hood like that. Most people who's banging and shit like that, like they ain't never really shot that gun except for a couple of little shootouts. They ain't got no fucking aim. So do I worry about a nigga with a switch? I don't even worry about a nigga with a gun because your aim is missing. So now, the difference between me and you is not that I'm deadly, it's that I practice more.
But you are deadly.
That's all. I put more practice into what the craft is. If you shoot
It's like
maybe
anything,
20
bro.
times a year versus my 2,000 rounds a month,
It's like anything.
you not-
Practice make practice.
you're not in the same league. So
20 rounds to my 2,000.
But some people ain't shooting at all, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So now, even when people get it for protection, right? Most people buy a gun. This is statistically true. Most people buy a gun, and they might shoot it within the first couple weeks. The first week for sure, but within the first couple of weeks, and might not shoot it again for the next 3 to 4 months. But the initial thought was, I'm buying this for protection,
That's me.
right? So protect from what though? Because when you pick it up, you barely know how to rack this motherfucker
I
and
know
point
what
this
the
bitch
fuck
and
I'm
get it
doing.
together.
But I ain't trying to squeeze it unless it's time
Yeah,
to
but
squeeze it.
so everybody done practice in front of paper. Nobody's practiced in front of a real situation. You don't get the
nah.
chance to.
Yeah,
So here's the one thing about a
There's no
criminal,
practice in terms of a real situation. It's
right?
just act.
Because a criminal always
Yeah,
has the one
yeah.
thing that you'll never have, which is the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Because you wake up in the morning thinking, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, I'm this, I'm that, I'm going to do that. He wake up thinking, I'm finna rob your ass, nigga.
Yeah,
And
nigga,
you
I
don't
do
know
shit
that
every day.
until the nigga done drew down and trying to rob you, nigga. So he has the advantage of knowing what's finna go on
you-
way ahead of time.
And you just
So it's always
la.
yeah, it's always a reactive situation. So now, it's not about are you ready to do something in an offensive way? Are you ready to do something in a defensive way? Right. So now that's my art of de-escalation, or how I'm talking. And we talked about how everybody's an actor a little earlier.
By the time
right?
you draw
So-
down on you, ain't no de-escalation, is it? Please don't kill me, please.
That's de-escalation. no matter what you, because if he was planning on killing
got
you
killed.
and you say please don't kill me,
What you need?
that's trying to bring it down a notch.
What you need?
Right? But so I mean it's something to like, all right, so depending on what I've got, let's say I've got a carry weapon, I've got to practice drawing it from the appendix. right? I gotta practice drawing from the appendix if that's how I'm carrying, or drawing from the hip if that's how I'm carrying. And most times, here's what happens. Yeah, most indoor ranges don't allow you to draw from the holster. So where are you going to get your practice from, right? In the end, okay?
Bullseye don't.
No.
But you can.
From the table. So that's what I normally tell people. It's like, listen, you can practice shooting
So you
all.
can't hold it down off the table.
No, you can hold it flat on the table.
But you can't hold it down off the table.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, because it's concrete down
I
below
ever
you.
did that.
I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's concrete underneath you. So ricochets are prevalent with concrete. That's why they don't allow you to do it
I
on
haven't
indoor.
done it.
Outdoor, they got dirt below you. So if the bullet go down into the ground, it's just going into the dirt. But with the concrete, it'll splatter and shatter because it's just lead and copper. So that's why they don't allow you to do it on indoor ranges. So you get to that point that, okay, well, you can go practice even shooting on paper, right? But the one thing you haven't practiced is presenting the gun, drawing the gun, where you have it in your house. Most ladies come in and buy a gun and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to have it in my purse. And then guess what? Even in their house, they purse is in the kitchen and they chilling in the living room. Even if a nigga does kick your dough in, what you going to do? You don't have enough speed and wherewithal
You know me, Rocco, man.
to jump up, run, and remember that purse is sitting on the counter and the table in the kitchen while all this is going down, right? So it's like I say, it's all purposeful. Like, how do you plan to layer yourself? So I always tell people like this with the sticks. You go back to the sticks, right? I would rather have a perfectly good 17 to 20 round semi-automatic weapon, right? That's concealable, that you'll never know I have, right?
Because big ass clip hanging out of your pocket
Right.
that you can't eat.
So we talk about it and stuff like this. So as accurate as I may be from a bunch of practice, right? 9 times out of 10, if I do have to get into a defensive situation, somebody gonna get shot in their stomach,
Oh,
right? Because I need you to get up close on me. I need you to grab me. I need the police to know that you got some of my DNA on you. You grab me, nigga. You started this shit.
so it's always self-defense on that way.
You understand? Right? So most likely you're gonna have some gut shots, and those hurt worse. They're bad. They tear you up. You end up quadriplegic, shitting in a bag. Like, it fuck you up. It's worse than getting shot in the chest and arm and the ribs and shit. You can get back from that.
Wow.
You get hit in them guts and them intestines. It's over for you, homie.
That's it, man. It's in
You can
guts,
be
man.
you can be the goodest looking nigga on the block. You got a colostomy bag on the side. That bitch don't want you no more. You got a shit bag on your hip. That bitch don't want you no more.
Man, that's some nasty shit.
Boy, some real life shit. I hope
That's
y'all
real-
niggas is
hey.
listening, bruh.
Yeah. So, in talking about that, so normally in going to court with the gun, you've got the gun. We talked about everybody should get training, right? You should at least have a firearms instructor that at least shows you some of the basics, and then you got to practice. Because shooting is a perishable skill, boxing is a perishable skill. You know what I'm saying? Things like that take physical exertion are a perishable skill. So you have to stay constant and vigilant at practicing. Now, do you have to shoot a volume of rounds and stuff like we do and all that stuff? No, but at least a box of 50 for $20 is worth it at least once or twice a month. You know what I'm saying? So you think about it, $40 to $60, you can go 3 times a month because it's like $10 for a range rental, $12, $15, whatever it is. $20 for a box. Well, really, if you go to like one of the stores or something like that, you probably get it for like $12, $10. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about $25, $75 a month.
Yeah,
You can go shoot 50 rounds,
So you
150
spend
rounds.
more on the 3.5, nigga.
You know,
Yeah, you know what I
and then you
mean?
bringing no benefit to your life.
For
right?
real.
So, with that, you get all the experience and the training. Now, that's the training on the shooting end of it. But like I said, you really got to think about, the other end of it. Like, okay, well, if I'm planning for somebody that might kick a door in my house, have I ever thought about the fact, well, where's my bedroom located? Where's the kid's bedroom? Where's the dog at? Da-da-da-da. Is there a death funnel in the house where I can get people to and I can know, do we have a fucking code word that I say when I'm fixing to spray? Right, so that's what I always tell people is like, hey, look, if you're gonna have it by your side and your room's in the back of the house and your kids' rooms are on the other side, you got nothing. You got to go to it. You know what I'm saying? If they're on the other side of the house and shit like that, so you got to be prepared. Now, other people are layered to the point where they're in a place where they can gather kids and living rooms on the other side or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Couple stairs.
You know, a lot of them houses where they're the masters on this side and then the ones are on the other side from the front door and the back door type stuff. You know what I mean?
That's
so
one
really,
thing I like about houses that got stairs that come up to the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you make it up,
it's a funnel.
Look, if you make it up these stairs, you're a bad motherfucker.
It's a funnel. That's what they call a death funnel or a choke point, right? You just want to get them into the choke point.
Yeah.
Or like if you do have it across, hey, we got to know something to be able to get them up fast, and then have a code word for everybody to hit the deck. Because like when my kids were little, I used to tell them, hey, our code word is changed now, but it used to be pickles, right? So if you hear me hollering pickle, 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 you better get your ass on the ground, flat.
They come and do
Because
spray.
dogs, humans, anything that's moving,
He's getting shot, man.
it's not moving, right? So
Self-defense.
It's one of those things where you have to prepare for, right? So you have to prepare for a fight, even though you don't fight every day,
That's facts.
right? So you can't walk into talking shit about somebody and you know you can't fight.
You ain't never even threw a punch.
Right? You got to know at least how to formulate a punch, right? There's people still out here throwing knuckles. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know to roll your shoulder and get them two knuckles leading out. And you know what I mean? So, like, you breaking hands and shit. You don't even know how to fight for, like, you might be able to throw hands and might beat a few people, but you don't know how to fight, like, protect yourself and last more than the 30, 40 seconds that an average fight is, right? So, like, there's levels. Like we were talking about, it's levels to protection. So I always tell people, hey, I run with a small gun. It might have 15, 17 rounds, but my goal is to get back to the car, right? And if I can get to the car, I'm layered, right? So if I can get to the car, I've got another 150, 200 rounds. And, you know, I'm trying to get out of there. You know, I got to be pinned down or something crazy like that. That'd be... You know, I don't see that coming anytime soon, but it's just for me to get to the car to try to get back to the house.
Sam, but I'm trying to tell y'all, boy.
So now, if you follow me to the house, it's not nothing good coming back out that front door. You know what I mean? Wow. So we hope we don't get that far, like no zombie apocalypse where they chasing you to the house. Because if I can get to the house, that's where everything comes equal. Like you might got a little advantage on the way home.
So you're not gonna turn it up to that next level now, boy. You ready to go to that level? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 5 tenets to self-defense, a claim of self-defense. So here's what I want you guys to understand, and all your listeners and viewers, right? Self-defense, a claim of self-defense, is a claim of admittance and avoidance. So when you claim self-defense, you're admitting to killing this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. So if the self-defense don't work, you just admitted to killing him. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So you're going to get the manslaughter for sure, minimum, right? So that's what you got to understand. If you claim self-defense, boy, it's got to be airtight because you're admitting and avoiding based on certain circumstances.
Better have video footage. They better have a gun.
Well, so here's what it is. There's 5 tenets.
Even if they got a knife, right, and you shoot them, that's still, but like, did you try to avoid them? Did you know what I mean?
Well, so there's 5 tenets.
But if they was coming at you with the knife,
innocence,
that's different.
You got to have innocence first, right? So did you start it? Right? Be simple on it. Hey, did I start the argument or disagreement, whatever it is? Imminence is like how viable is the threat? Is it right now? Like, is the dude with the knife right in front of you within a distance that he can strike you with the knife? Okay. Right? Or is he threatening to go get a knife? Okay. Or to come back with a knife? Okay. Or all that shit don't work, homie. Yeah. He got to be right there with the knife, the gun, the bat, the whatever the thing that, and you have to have that feeling that your death or great bodily harm is imminent. It's right now. Not in the future, not from the past, not none of that shit. It's got to be right in the moment. Right? And then you have to have avoidance. You have to have, could you avoid it? Right? Okay. Was there a way? Yeah. Was there a way for you to evade it and not it to not happen? Hey, did you allow the guy to go to the car and get the knife and come back? Now that's premeditated.
Yeah, we let him come back.
Right.
I want to see that shit.
Damn.
Come show me, nigga.
You gonna go get what? And you sitting there and now you got your shit
locked up.
I'm gonna blast this nigga.
Locked up. That's where they got them cuffs coming. Them cuffs coming. right? I don't care how far the car is. It could be 3 feet away. The cuffs is coming. Because you could have took off and ran. You know, there was nothing that, hindered your avoidance getting away.
Told that nigga, and
Right.
look, see, I'm glad you saying that. Because niggas will be in the courtroom. I told that nigga he come back with some shit. He came back with the shit. I got there black. Yes, sir, you could have left. Did you have a vehicle? Yeah, I had a whip. Nigga be telling on himself.
Right? So you
Burn
got
this
proportionality too. So they can't have a book in their hand and you got a gun. Right? So it's got to be somewhat proportional. Right?
It's a knife gun.
Yeah, knife gun,
That-
or it could be a size difference, right? If you're a 4-foot midget versus a 7-foot dude, they're like, he can just pick you up and slam you on the fucking ground and kill you, right? I mean, it's hypothetical, right? But, Shaq could just toe toss a midget and kill him, right? So they could reasonably be afraid or threat that their life was going to end, right? So that's why women versus a male, because they know that the size and muscular difference from male to female, women normally get that self-defense.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to have a gun or a knife, because the dude can just smash her fucking head.
Yeah, women.
You know what I mean?
Man,
So
women-
there's that.
Women be getting away
There's
with
that
thing.
proportionality.
Word.
And then that reasonableness we talked about earlier, like would a reasonable person done the same thing? So I think of it like this. I'm in the corner of my house. There's no windows or doors behind me. The dude's right there within 10 feet with a knife or a gun, threatening the lives of myself or my family members, loved ones, right?
You gotta kill him.
Yeah. So now there's no avenue. I got to kill him, right? So at the end of the day, that's what it sums itself up to. You got to be wary of all that shit. So now,
Y'all like, subscribe, baby.
all that stuff that you got to worry about that we just talked about,
Yeah.
that's why I say, even as much as I practice, boy, it's not worth it. Listen, there's a lot of y'all out there. This is real talk to the young niggas and some middle-aged niggas and some old niggas.
Man, when they say
Right.
2040,
But-
that's 2040.
But what I've always said is, listen, I'd rather give you a pass, and I have. I've given a lot of people passes, right? And had the opportunity and the wherewithal to dispatch them with all prejudice. But give a pass, right? Because you can de-escalate it, and you can talk it down. Okay, I'm a bitch. Yeah, I'm pussy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm that. I'm whatever I am today, and I'm gonna de-escalate you so you ain't so aggressive. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna play that bitch, because the alternative is, for me, it ain't that I'm scared of killing. It's, man, I don't want to talk to no fucking detectives. I'm an old nigga from the hood. I ain't got time to talk to these police. I really don't want to have them do no paperwork,
Like
especially
that's-
with my name on it.
And like you said,
So I'm gonna let you go.
So look, now you gotta go down there and prove your innocence.
Right.
You done filleted this nigga. You see what I'm saying? So now you in court, your whole life stop. You ain't got no money to pay for no real
No,
good
you finna
criminal
get-
murder
listen.
lawyer. Off
Listen.
the bat, nigga. You think you about to get Perry Mason, nigga?
Here's the thing. I tell the YNs and some middle-aged niggas still today. The public defender, the only thing they gonna get you is a plea deal.
Ooh. They don't care if you did it or not.
Now that Innocence Project, when you 12, 15, 17 years in, they gonna
Fuck that, nigga.
I can't
them
let that one.
niggas come do work.
I'm not laughing at the niggas
know
in
what
there.
y'all saying.
I'm laughing at, nigga, I'm not trying to do
get your
12,
ass
15 years later.
Them lawyers gonna do a pro bono.
I don't want to have to wait on that. I won't have to wait on them niggas.
Damn. Hey,
Bottom line, man, just make sure you're doing what is right, man. Do
Yeah.
it right.
you
bro.
gotta understand that public pretenders are paid by the same prosecutors that's trying to lock your ass up. You don't think people understand. Them niggas go to lunch together.
Yeah, they do.
They paycheck say the exact same thing, bruh.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
man.
Sheesh.
Well, that's a proven fact across America that you got to go get a lawyer. Like, you don't bring no lawyer from New York to an Atlanta court. You better go get an Atlanta dude, because 9 times out of 10 in the areas,
And
they went to school together,
Yeah,
or,
and they
or they've
gonna-
been, in the
and they
court
gonna look
system
at that
together,
like-
going against each other for a long time, and they develop a rapport.
And they gonna look at that like disrespect, like, oh,
Yeah.
you gonna bring this dude up? Okay.
That's how you get stuff done and be able to keep the
You
cogs
gotta
of the
keep
wheel
money
moving.
in the family.
Well, I'm trying to get my license right, man. The lawyer that I had
Well,
got.
no.
used to-
I mean, it's not even about the money in the family. I mean, it is, but it's not to that point. I think not corruption, but I think it's just how business works, right? So the government, you got to look at it like this: the court system and any type of government entity, to me, they have a lot of shit to deal with. So if you the government, you got so many millions of Social Security people, whatever like that. So shit's gonna happen. It ain't like a small business, right? So I think that, like, with the attorneys and stuff like that, they get to a point where it's easier to negotiate because you'll clog the court system. If you fought every case, imagine how many plea deals done went down. Now imagine if they fought all them cases. How backed up would the court system be? How backed up would it be? How many plea deals? You hear more plea deals, right, than you hear full-on trials.
And that's why they give.
So, see what I'm saying?
That's why times are so lengthy, because they be like, well,
That's why the plea deal's so sweet.
That's what I'm saying. They say, well,
That's why a plea deal's so sweet. So look, it's a dude.
especially if you know you guilty of this.
Look
shit.
it up. It's a dude that had this like R van. You know what I'm saying? He was going around. He had like 4 or 5 victims and shit. Right? He was facing 80 years. The plea deal was for 25.
You plead out.
For 25 years.
Yeah, how you offer a plea deal in the first place?
Exactly.
He did it to women and children.
Damn. You had a plea deal.
Yeah, so you went from 80 to 25.
Oh, went from 80 to 25.
Crazy.
So now that's just.
Still.
To me, so now listen. So if I'm the man and I'm an attorney and I'm the DA, boy, you're not finna do no heinous shit like that. Not finna give you no fucking plea deal. Not for no 25 for sure.
No.
Right? Not with my character. You know what I'm saying? Like how I think. Like, nah, nigga, I'm not approving that. If I'm the judge or even the DA, I'm not finna offer you no sweet deal, homie. You know what you did to them people's lives. Right? So the gravity of it and the plea deal. And I see why that's where kind of some of this stuff come from. You got to think about like the PTSD it caused for them families and shit when these people take these plea deals. They family member have lost their life forever, and they got a death penalty to 25, and they give them 25. Mm-hmm. I apologize, but I'm still Old Testament.
Yeah, me too. Eye for eye.
You fucking right.
Yeah, put them on Fox 5. I told you.
Because I just feel like, even
That's
as
a
a
big-
father
that's a
or
big thing, man.
or
Take
brother or something like that, man, you do wrong by your people. You got
Hey, look, but taking
you
a
got to settle
life,
that shit.
taking a life wrongfully is a big thing, bro.
So a long time ago, like in the 80s, it was a guy that had a dude's son in Texas. I think it was Texas, or maybe it was Oklahoma or something like that. He hit him with the revolver when he was walking by in the courtroom. Plugged him in his head right there, and then just put his hands up, let the boys take him and all that shit.
Something like on New Jack City.
Yeah,
Damn.
right? In the courtroom, right there with the police walking him in, right with the police side by side, shoulder to shoulder.
And he popped his ass.
Popped his ass.
That was his brother?
No,
Oh.
it was a dude that I think he had already killed his son.
Oh, the dude killed his son.
Yeah. And I think he molested him too.
Oh, yeah, he had to go. Damn, and what he ain't get that, how much of time he get?
I don't know. I was fixing to look it up.
This recent? Nah, he said this minute ago. Yeah, he probably got insanity. He lost his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Calm.
Yo, yeah, this Mr. Encyclopedia too, man. Yeah, but hey man, current events, man.
There
So-
he is.
When was this? He died in 2014. Nigga old.
Damn.
What's his name? Gary Ploush?
Leon Gary Ploush. He was old from Baton Rouge. 4 kids.
What happened to him?
Killing of death of Jeff Doucette.
Uh-huh.
What happened? Let me see.
Maybe a shootout. No, it's just.
He was being escorted to Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport by law enforcement to face trial.
That's a nice one there.
Oh, the dude had. Damn, the dude ain't get no time for the crime.
What? You tell him. But I think that.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. Y'all look that up. They ain't gonna give you the juice.
I think it's Gary Plowshare, something like that.
But see, that's old America. They ain't doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen?
That was like 90.
See, that's when everything made sense.
No, that was 59. 1959. No, wait.
Damn.
1984.
See what I'm saying? Everything made sense.
Correct.
Shout out to 84. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, what else is on your mind? We ain't gonna talk y'all to death about, gun safety and everything. So,
Oh, yeah. No.
yeah.
Well, I'm here, fellas. What we got going on?
Yeah, we got Mr. Tico in the building, so
We talking
Mr.
about
Low
that?
Key.
No, man, that was good, insightful, man. Because like a lot of people don't know that side and that information in terms of what he was given. It was a lot being poured into it. So if you didn't even get all of it, you need to rewind it and all in terms of the safety,
Good game.
the comfort, in terms of being confident in what you have, in terms of budget being the last thing, in terms of just getting practice in. There's a lot of jewels that he dropped. I know he talks a little bit fast and it goes and it's going, but
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
yeah, there's a lot
All
of
that.
jewels in that in terms of just being safety. But overall, it's just being safety and knowing that if you're not really willing to destroy what's in front of you as that threat, but y'all young niggas, you don't have to always destroy.
Stop being emotional.
Thank
Build.
you. Acting like some little biatch, real talk, bro. Like you can't
Being emotional.
put your dukes up, bro.
They don't
Take
know how
one.
to fight, bro.
Fight, and if you lose, man, it is what it is, bro. So everybody don't win every fight. Some people do.
So
Yeah.
my question is, what for? I always ask, like, I coach in the community and all that stuff there. Players get to a little roughhousing or whatever, or they, get a little pissed off at each other. And, I'm saying, hey, what for? Well, he called me this. Okay, are you that?
Thank you.
If
But
you're not, what triggered you to make you upset about that, right? Because the only way that you can feel upset about something that somebody called you, and this is real shit right here, is because you think less of yourself than they do.
yeah, and that's
You
why
see what
you
I'm saying?
have to tell the
'Cause
young
if you
people.
think more of yourself, you're not gonna let it affect you.
Yeah.
You don't
But see,
bother me.
that comes with
Yeah, that's
growth. But that comes with growth. That's why I try to
Like, hey, man.
preach
you
to
can
the young
say-
folks.
I tell people all the time, you
Yeah.
can say anything out your mouth, just don't put your hands on me.
Yeah. I don't care about it, but
Anybody can say anything out their mouth, nigga.
But that comes with growth. That's why you
Yeah.
say don't be emotional. That's
yeah,
why
nah,
we preach.
back in the day, I whooped a whole bunch of
Yeah,
niggas for saying
off
certain
just
shit.
daggone thinking it out
But
because
you say,
at the
nigga-
time you're not thinking that process.
Right.
They don't have that thought process to think about it. Like, they just emotional.
Right.
Offended thing that somebody heard them call that, and now they gotta stunt or shine for somebody that's around and all of that, bro. Like I said, them words that don't affect me. Like I said, if you put your hands on me or my
Well,
family, then that's when you take it to that next level. But in terms of them words, unless it's a threat, like you say that, I'm about to go get this, so I'm gonna be ready.
No, you better get away.
No,
You gotta run.
No,
Just know he gonna be at the gas station with the Glock. Wait, oh nigga.
no,
go to
I'm
the
not
truck,
saying
nigga.
that. I'm just saying you still gonna be observant if you can't get away. If
Oh,
a man
no,
tell you
sure.
that I'm about to get that and all that, you're gonna be observant of. You're not about to like say, wait, no, I'm about to try to escape, do what you got to do, and
Yeah,
all
get
of
the fuck
that.
on.
But you are never daggone not be observant and turn your back on the enemy and all that,
Right.
or the situation that's happening, until you can get out of that. And then even when you still get out of it, you still watching in the rear view a little bit to make sure ain't nobody following and doing what you got to do and all of that, man. But that come with moving up on the levels, man. Because like I said, if you a shiesty dude, bruh, or
Yeah,
you
you
a
gotta
thirsty
change the
ball ass nigga, bruh.
So I think here's what happened when we get to you talking to the YNs, and I love it because I try to mentor, in the community myself. Is you a product of your environment in a sense, but then once you have the cognitive ability to realize you in a fucked up environment, it's your obligation to change.
Yeah.
Because once you know better, you're supposed to do better.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of times these guys, the YNs, right? We was always taught
after a while.
So when I don't advocate being in the streets, but I used to be in the streets a long time ago. I'm an old guy, so this is way after statute of limitations. So I can tell you some stuff, right? So I used to run with some people way back, and you would do stuff in the name of pride and ego, right? And you just wanted to show off in front of the next dude. Because at the end of the day, you trying to be hard for the hood, but when you do this thing that you're going to be hard for the hood for, you leaving the hood immediately.
And ain't nobody going to see you.
Yeah, and then ain't nobody going to see you. And then what, you finna go be hard in prison? Because all it takes is time and opportunity. So you might think you the hardest thing, and you might get through prison in them first 10, 12, 15, 17 years, but boy, you on a life bid, when you get to 60 and 70, you can't defend yourself. You might still be tough with that attitude, but a young 19, 20-year-old nigga and a 63-year-old dog, like,
hey, Pops, go ahead.
yeah, go and give me that stove, Pops. Right? So, like, it's just time and opportunity.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So I always say, man, let that shit go.
Yeah,
It don't matter what somebody say to you, man. Fuck them motherfuckers.
it ain't worth it.
But here's what it is. So back in the day, what I was getting to, I kind of got off track on it. Me and the homies, all our OGs and big homies told us, man, you hustling and doing this shit to get out the hood. So it's so many niggas that go to making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a week. And I'm just talking about low level. I ain't even talking about the niggas that making 10 grand, 20 bands, 50 bands a day. Because I know folks that used to do that.
And this niggas
But I know low level people that would be making enough money to move out in the middle suburbia, out to Gwinnett. You know what I'm saying? Buy a house, get their credit fixed, do all that stuff. And been in the hood, serving, making this type of money for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Go to prison, come back home, do it for another couple of years, go to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, could have been flipped that shit into a landscaping business or stocks and investments or, whatever like that. But claiming, for what?
Gotta
stay
clean
in
up
that
your
area?
money. Gotta clean up your money.
to be that guy.
To be that guy in that area?
And then everybody, like I say,
That's it.
what is the criteria of the man? Like, everybody want to be that man.
No, but that's where this is what I try to tell the young folks a lot of times.
Diddy was the man.
The more you're confident in who you are as a youngster, you can get that in life in terms of as a youngster.
Yeah.
It takes a while because you're around different peers and environments and all the TV shows and all that, but more confident in who you are and all that, life becomes a little bit more, I won't say easier, but more to focus on. Because you ain't trying to daggone find out who I am or trying to impress all these other folks. That's why I say young niggas, hey, be yourself, bro.
To that point, I always tell parents the one question that I haven't heard since I was a kid, and I don't think I've heard it at any time, is, what do you want to be when you grow up? You remember when you was young?
Yeah.
And them teachers would ask you all that stuff.
Everybody had aspirations.
That was the kind of thing. Like, you had an aspiration and a dream. Nowadays, go ask a third grader, a fifth grader, a seventh, a ninth, hey, what you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
I don't know. Right? And then guess what happens when they get 18, 19, 20? Guess what they want to be while they grown up? I don't know. And then at 27, 28, they hating life because they never went to try to find out what they really want to be in life. Because you know what they always say is, do what you love or do something you can fall in love with. Because that way it won't feel like work to you. There's so many people that get up.
And
9 to
one
5.
thing, and let's put it like this. Let's tell the YNs this too. I don't care how much money you got, what level you on, you gonna always have to put in some work.
Hell yeah.
LeBron put in the work. Jay-Z put in the work. Anybody on top, y'all see on top, they put in some type of work to get on top. It just don't happen just because you want to be on top. You got to put in some work.
Hey,
As a coach, what you see? I know you done seen raw talent, and then you done seen somebody who with some work, they could be okay.
Hard
and then
work.
you seen somebody who put in more work than the raw talent.
tell it
and
to him.
he
Tell it to him,
become
low key.
Yeah.
Tell it to him. Hit him with the phrase.
Hard work would be talent any day, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any day. Because the thing is, talent would eventually fade. But if you have the hard work and that ethic and that drive to continue to put in the hard work, it would eventually mold into talent. But if you just got
keep
talent
driving.
and you're just relying on just talent, but you don't have the work ethic, you got to understand. In these sports where there's a lot of greats that we talk about, Jordan, Magic, Kareem, there were people that were better than them.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the discipline, dedication, and determination, and that work ethic and that drive.
I always say this. For every player that ever played in the NBA, it's a player better than them who didn't get that opportunity to play in the league.
Shit, listen, I'll tell you this. For every one of your NBA heroes, I know of a dude that was colder than them. That was
that's
in
what
the,
we said,
listen,
choices.
listen, that was in the NBA. So they talk about like
Yeah.
greatest players.
Yeah, they got
it'd be
some
it'd be LeBron or Jordan. Boy, you better put Kareem in there too,
Oh, Kareem definitely up there.
right? So why is it only LeBron and Jordan? Or you
all
are you
about
talking
images
about?
and
Listen, best
It's
to
about
me,
image, bro.
best two ball handlers in the NBA ever, Kyrie Irving and Pistol Pete. But Pistol Pete is better than Kyrie to me because Pistol Pete
See, I
came
ain't
up
never
with it.
seen no old ass Pistol Pete.
Oh boy,
So I
Pistol!
can't
Listen,
even-
all them passes that Magic Johnson came up with, he got them from Pistol Pete,
See, Isaiah used to handle that
right?
too.
So there's always somebody who they get their inspiration from.
Oh, yeah.
And you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
start off doing
Evolution.
they moves.
That's the
right.
evolution of the game.
So you got to master their moves
Man,
that you done went through.
All of the sauce that is in the game now came from Julius and them boys,
It's just-
Iceman and you know what I mean, Irvin and all them boys, man.
You gotta look at it just a transition and like say evolution. Just like if you look at music in
Yep.
terms of
Oh yeah,
hip hop and all that.
beats get more sophisticated.
so-
the quality of equipment that they recording on is better.
So of course the players are going to be more better. It's just what separates in terms of the players, in my opinion, in terms of is the mindset and that discipline
Shit,
and that
football.
heart.
Look at football.
Where you can see dogs, where you
Yeah,
know it and all that. Because like I say,
Yeah.
I don't want no dog that's been fed all the time. When I'm a coach and all that, that's been there where he ain't got that. I want a dog
got
that's
that hunger.
hungry. They
Yep.
got that daggone ain't gonna go in the refrigerator because you know folks be talking about I'm hungry but don't want to go in the daggone refrigerator and want to daggone cook the food. I want a dog that ain't got no food in his refrigerator.
Yeah.
That's the dog that I want. Where he gonna go out there, he gotta get it, he gotta fight for it and all that. Some dudes they just give it to him and yeah, they good in the talent and all that. But no, I want that dog.
You know,
that
that's
got
why
it.
they say championships are so hard to repeat.
Oh yeah.
Because once you get there, they lose that little
That-
bit of
that-
fight in them.
yeah.
Right, that they had before. It's real hard. So, like, when people do back-to-back championships, no matter what sport,
Just like fight
that is
fighters and all
Yeah,
that.
them
but-
some dogs
and the
right
ones
there.
that the ones that did it is because they had some dogs that was not satisfied.
Right.
That wanted
They
more.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
That wanted more. Wasn't enough. What
Yeah.
I got right here and the
And
position
then,
I'm
and
in.
then I don't care how long they roll, regardless, it's still another dog that still hungrier that want to get it, and that's eventually how
Yeah.
the big dog fall. That's the only way
Always.
the big dog fall.
It hurted me to see daggone Kobe had the daggone pass it to LeBron, bro. But that's how it was. It was just the timing, bro. It was like Kobe said, "No, here
So
come the
check
next
this
dog,
out.
bro."
So check this out. This gonna be our first episode on season 2, right? And we done introduced Mr. Tico, the same dude.
Better version. Tactical_Citizen TV on Instagram.
Kyle.
Cowboy.
Okay.
Sam, Mitty Sam.
Sammy Sam.
Sammy
Yeah,
Sam.
like-
And
All the old heads will know who that is. If y'all young niggas, look it up, nigga. Looney Tunes.
But look, check this out. I don't want to drown the people I like to just give them a taste of it because we're gonna have Mr. Tico on here very, you know what I mean, a lot now. He right up the street from me, so yeah, he gonna pull up. And they said we can't display tactical, objects and everything. So I thought we could because it's YouTube and everything, and they got different. Maybe we're gonna have an episode maybe for that.
Yeah, we can have an episode so we don't have to monetize it or nothing like that.
Yeah, go to an episode and go to the range, an outdoor range where you can.
From my understanding, you just can't show like taking it apart and assembly and all that stuff that.
We're gonna work on the science behind all the legalities and everything.
The math, you gonna work out the math?
Yeah, work out the math on this. But if y'all don't take anything from this episode right here, is make sound decisions with firearms and with your life, man. If you're trying to live and if you're trying to, have a quality life, man, make sound decisions. Don't let nobody get you out your element. Always control yourself. And I'm done. Anything on your mind?
Just pleasure to be here, fellas. Appreciate the invite. Appreciate being able to spread the news about the 2A community because I believe everybody should, not just own a firearm, but train with the firearm and become proficient with it, just as much as they train how to drive a car. Right. I want to put a message out there to anybody who's in a disparaging situation. I don't say a hood because, I think a lot of times people say the hood mean inner city, but there's hoods in every city.
Oh, man, yeah.
Right? And some of them are different, right? Some of them got curbs and some of them don't have curbs. Some of them got dirt roads,
some
right?
Some of them got mansions, some of them don't.
Right, exactly. So, just to live your life trying to be the best you can be and, holler at your boy if you need any training. Check me out on Instagram, YouTube. Going crazy on YouTube, so we should be able to
like, subscribe, share, comment,
follow these boys, man.
Always, man. Shout out, man, to my boy Broadway G. Shout out to my man, Mr. Black, Mr. Falloose, man.
He out there popping his.
Everybody got it going on, man. Popping his like a Glock 9.
See y'all soon.
Like I said, every day above ground is a great day, man. Shout out to my oldest son, man. Graduated from University of Iowa, man.
Okay. Congratulations.
Jordan on that, man.
On that.
And like I say, man, just keep pushing everybody, man. Don't get down, man. Rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield,
Positive
baby.
over negative.
For sure, man. And like I say, we'll catch y'all next time, man. Always, man. Love y'all.
Peace.
All in on everything.